Loving yourself is incredibly simple, but it's not easy. And I'll explain why. The problem with learning to love oneself, learning to respect oneself, and to carry oneself through this life with confidence, belief, self-respect, self-compassion, even dignity. The problem with attaining these things, which we all know are ideal states to be in. We all know that we should believe in ourselves and love ourselves enough to do what's right for ourselves. We know that being confident would make our lives better in every sense of the word. And that self-love is a trait that is appreciated and respected no matter who you are. The problem with gaining the sense of self-love is that it's a sense to most people. And what I mean by sense is that when people try to love themselves, when you wake up one morning and say, okay, I want to learn how to love and appreciate myself. The problem is that you are expecting a feeling. You are expecting to learn the skill of waking up on a day-to-day basis and feeling the sense of self-love, admiration, and warmness towards yourself in the same way that you would feel that towards somebody else that you respected and loved. If you thought about somebody that you cared about right now, you would feel those feelings arise. Most likely you would feel the sense of joy and appreciation and admiration for this person. And so naturally, you think that, okay, if that's the way I feel about people that I love and respect, then I need to replicate that feeling towards myself. But there's a massive flaw in this line of thinking or feeling. And that flaw is the fact that feelings and thoughts and emotional states constantly change, constantly rise and constantly fall. And if you watch the videos on this channel, you already know that we don't place particular importance in our emotions. We realize that our feelings are states of mind, states of being that appear sporadically. And sometimes we don't even know why. It's like they say, you wake up on the wrong side of the bed one morning. I just woke up angry or sad or feeling not myself, right? And that's totally normal. It is totally normal and totally human to experience fluctuating emotions. There is nothing wrong with you. But the problem is that because you cannot maintain this consistent and steady state of self-respect and admiration, because you can't keep that going, you feel as though you're defective. And all of a sudden, even if you were succeeding for a while in building this sense of, wow, I'm so good, I'm so worthy of love, I like myself, you could build that for a couple days to a couple of weeks, and then suddenly, wabah, one thing goes wrong. You make a mistake, you say something you shouldn't have said, you fail a commitment to yourself, and the feeling's gone. And suddenly all those negative voices in your head return with, you're a failure. You're never going to do anything worthwhile. You should be ashamed of yourself. There are so many people that are better than you. Who are you to even think that you are worthy of love and respect? And you're back at square one. And this is all because we relied on feeling self-love. But what if I told you that self-love is not a feeling? And that you can actually love yourself and learn to love yourself despite what you think and feel, despite not liking yourself. That you could actually love yourself and not even particularly like the person you are at this current moment. And all of that self-love could be practical and used towards achieving the life that you want to achieve, towards building meaningful relationships and doing the positive actions through that self-love that would make you ultimately even get to that feeling of self-respect and self-admiration. Going back to what I said at the start of this video, self-love is simple, but it's not easy. And what I mean by that and how we could really understand that is through an analogy, right? We're going to take this feeling of self-love and turn it into a practical, actionable thing that we could really use in our lives. And the best way to do that is to actually change our perspective, okay? And I'm going to give you some perspective changes right now. So I want you to try and close your eyes. And while you do this, I want you to bring to mind somebody that you truly love and care about. It can be your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, your best friend, anybody that comes to mind, even an animal. You got that person in mind or that animal in mind? I want you to now imagine that person is sad. They're going through a lot. Maybe they've experienced a heartbreak. Maybe they have gone through a loss of a job or a loss of a family member or loss of an identity. Somebody's hurt them, right? Somebody's done wrong by this person. And I want you to feel how that makes you feel, to see this person weep, to see this person sad, to see this person hurting. What would you do for this person? How would you treat them? What advice would you give them? Okay. Now, I want you to flip the switch a little bit. I want you to imagine this person is happy. This person is joyful. This person is over the moon. Life is good. They feel whole, content, and they're just so happy to be alive. And they smile and they laugh. Now, I want you to think about these states that we just described. This person being in a really bad place and this person being in a really good place. If you went back to the moment where they were feeling sad and hurt, would you feel any less love for that person just because they were struggling, just because they were in a bad place? If you really took a moment to think about it, you'd realize that your love had not changed in the slightest for that person. You still valued them, you still cared for them. Heck, you felt so angry that they were hurt that you wanted to jump in there and help them. But you didn't abandon them. You didn't look down on them, think any less of them. And when they were happy, you rejoiced. You felt good yourself. You wanted that person to be happy. You felt that they deserved to be happy. Not for one moment did you sit and think, oh, this person's happiness is too good. I should probably temper their expectations. Or I should bring them down a level or make them realize that they aren't worthy of that happiness. Is that person worthy of happiness? You look at me incredulously and say, of course they are. Now, I want you to stop, close your eyes if you must, and simply replace that person that you loved with yourself. And realize that you are that person. And you can become the person that you love. And that person, which is you, is worthy of all the same love, all the same treatment, all the same care that your person that you just thought about a minute ago is worthy of. It's the same thing. Another brilliant analogy that I lifted from Matthew Hussey is, imagine on day one of this life, you were gifted a human being. You were gifted this little human, and your only job for the rest of your life was to take care of this human being, to look after them, to care for them, to nurture them, to give them the best life possible. That's your only job, right? If it makes this analogy easier, imagine yourself as a parent, right? You have a kid, you have a child, and your only job is to look after and nurture and love this child. Now, you were given a quote-unquote human at the start of your life to care for, because you were given you. And you can't wake up one morning at 21 or whatever age, 18, and say, okay, I've lived in this body as this human for 18 years now. I want to change bodies and live a new life. You can't do that, right? You are stuck with you. And that doesn't sound very loving. Like I said, this may be a bit of a concern or maybe confusing because, I still don't feel that love. I still don't feel like I care and love and respect myself. But here's the big reveal. The same way that you would take care of your human or your child if you were a parent is the same way you should take care of yourself. Because ultimately, if somebody had to come up to you and say, why do you love your child? You wouldn't say, because little Jimmy got an A in his math test, or because Sarah achieved a miraculous award, or that Sandy was good today. She behaved, she didn't cry, and so I love her. You'd look at that parent like they were a nutter. Like, how could you say that about your child? Because the only thing you should be saying to the response of why do you love your child is simply because they are mine. This is my child. This is my human. It's the only one I was given. And it is my responsibility to look after that human in the best way that I possibly can. That's my only job. And paradoxically, it is in this taking care of your human or yourself, the same way you would take care of a child or somebody you loved. Treat yourself like you were somebody you loved. If you did that, you would never put your human around people that didn't love and appreciate them. You would never allow your human to participate in self-sabotaging behaviors, drinking, overeating, damaging their bodies, getting no sleep. If your child wasn't sleeping and eating junk food and ice cream all the time, you would show up with tough love and say, no, I love and care about you too much to let you go through that. You would look after them and you would let them or guide them towards making the best decisions so that they could have the best life possible. If you did that to yourself every single day and asked yourself consistently, if I was somebody I love, if this was the human that I was given, because it is, how would I treat myself? And the crazy part is the more that you do the right thing for your human, for your inner child, as though you were somebody you loved, the more you teach yourself self-love and self-respect. And then paradoxically, through the actions that you take, through giving yourself the life that you deserve, you start to like yourself. But that's the beauty of this whole analogy. You don't even have to like yourself at first to love yourself and to do the right thing for yourself. Liking yourself, as Matthew Hussey says, can come later. You can feel all that self-love and self-joy and self-respect and admiration for yourself, but you don't even need that because it is your job to take care of your human. And if you are not doing that for yourself right now, which if you're watching this video, I doubt you are, and this is not a shout and a critique. This is love coming. This is love coming from me. You are neglecting your only job. It's the only job you have, other than the job you take on at work. You have no other job but to treat yourself like somebody you love. So today, in order to learn the self-love, like I said, it's simple. Just do the things that you would do for somebody you loved or a child or your human. Do right by them. Talk to them with love and support. Critique them when necessary, but in a very unbiased and loving way. Don't talk down to them. Get them to take positive action that moves their life in a valued direction instead of detract from it. Do all of that. Simple. But you need to remember to do it and stop falling for this trap that you need to feel a certain way in order to love yourself. Forget about the feeling of self-love. That's the shallow surface level. Do what's right for you as though you were somebody you love, and watch how, not suddenly, but over time, you start to realize that the human you were given was always and inherently worthy of love.